In this short video, I would like to offer some explanation behind the theory of functionalism. In the session, you will already have been given extracts taken from Le Suicide by Emile Durkheim. Although this may seem a very strange and morbid subject to study, it represents Durkheim's attempt at explaining how a seemingly individual subject such as taking your own life can be explained as a social phenomena affected by the society in which we live, as opposed to an individual decision taken in isolation. This study by Durkheim was the first scientific study of society. Functionalism bases itself heavily on the use of quantitative methods, and using this approach, Durkheim gathered a wealth of statistical data from around the world, and used this to prove that as suicide rates rarely fluctuated in specific societies, an act such as suicide cannot be considered in isolation. It is useful to use the analogy of the human body to illustrate how functionalists see society working. Each part of the human body is linked in some way to all other parts. Individual organs combine to create something that is greater than the sum total of their individual parts. In social terms, the organs are the same as social institutions, and the focus of analysis is upon the relationship between various institutions in society. This represents a macro approach to the theorizing and study of the social world. Like the organs of the body, all parts of a society have a purpose or function. For example, the purpose of work is to create wealth, and in order to do this, it needs people with a certain level of educational knowledge. In this respect, each institution in society faces certain problems that have to be solved if it is to both exist and function properly. This means that individuals with specific skills are required to perform specific tasks. Not everyone is needed to be able to provide this skill, and therefore, there is no need for everybody to be trained to this specialist level. Other individuals are needed for manual labor who will produce materials and goods. These people will require lower levels of educational achievement. Therefore, the education system must support these needs by developing learners with a range of skills to meet the need of the work infrastructure. Society is seen as a form of living organism that exists independently of individuals. Society exists out there, in the structure of people's social relationships rather than in here, inside the mind of individual social actors, thus setting sociology apart from psychology. Social order is based upon and maintained by a value consensus, a basic agreement about values. These basic values derive from the functional imperatives generated by the way in which institutions have purpose and needs. Durkheim emphasizes two concepts that support this process. Firstly, social solidarity. This is the feeling that we belong to a common society, that we have certain basic values in common with others. Solidarity is based upon such things as a common culture, the processes of socialization, and basic values and norms. The second concept is collective conscience, the external expression of the collective will of people living in a society. This represents the social forces that help bind people together, to integrate them into the collective behavior that is society. To offer another example of how functionalism views society, we enter the world of crime and deviance. Durkheim believed that crime was not only normal in any society, but was also functional. This is not to say that he felt crime was really good, but rather that it was necessary. It was normal because no society existed in which some level of crime was not evident, and functional, as it served to reinforce social norms, provide the raw material for social change, and provide a kind of safety valve for social discontent. Although Durkheim was not the first sociologist to discuss the scientific study of society, he is widely regarded, along with Marx and Weber, as the architect of modern social theory. His work is still as relevant today as it was when written at the turn of the 20th century. Le suicide is still regarded as a key text for criminologists, coroners and pathologists, over 100 years after it was first published. I hope that this short video has helped you to better understand the ideas behind functionalism. But let me finish with words from Durkheim himself. Man's characteristic privilege is that the bond he accepts is not physical, but moral, that is, social. He is governed not by a material environment, brutally imposed on him, but by a conscience superior to his own.